In the busy city of Duruko, the air always buzzed with ambition. Among the noise of traffic and tall glass buildings, Naledi walked with her heart full of hope. She had just received a letter that changed everything. A job offer from McCann Holdings, the biggest construction company in the region. For years she had dreamed of working there. She wasn't from a rich family, but her late nights of study and endless courage finally opened a door. On her first day, she wore a neatly ironed dress and carried a folder close to her chest, ready to show the world what she could do. Inside the company, everything felt grand. Marble floors, shining elevators, and people moving with purpose. But behind that beauty was pressure, gossip, and fear. Her new boss, Mr. Zuberi, was known for his sharp suits and sharper words. Everyone respected him, but no one trusted him. His eyes carried the power to build or break a career in a second. When Naledi first met him, he smiled politely, complimented her confidence, and told her he saw potential in her. But even in his charm, something in his gaze made her uneasy. Days turned into weeks, and Naledi worked harder than anyone. She stayed late, double-checked reports, and helped teammates who struggled. People began to notice her focus, but others warned her quietly, saying, "Don't catch too much attention. The boss doesn't like that." Naledi didn't understand at first. She thought success was supposed to be celebrated. Then one afternoon, Mr. Zuberi stopped by her desk. He praised her dedication and told her there were special projects waiting for those who showed loyalty. He said it in a smooth tone that almost sounded kind, but there was a weight behind his words. "Meet me after work," he added softly. "Let's discuss your future here." Naledi smiled politely, but her heart tightened. She could sense this wasn't about her work. As the office lights dimmed and everyone left, Naledi sat alone, staring at the city lights outside the window. She had worked her whole life for this chance, but something told her that her real test was just beginning. After weeks of impressive performance, Naledi is called into Zuberi's private office. She walks in with her notepad in hand, her heart racing with both excitement and nerves. The office is large and silent, filled with the smell of expensive perfume and polished wood. Zuberi sits behind a wide glass desk, his eyes fixed on her with an expression that feels too warm to be just professional. He begins with praise, speaking smoothly about how talented she is, how her reports are always perfect, and how the company needs more people like her. Naledi smiles politely, grateful for his words, but unsure why he is suddenly so kind. Then his tone changes. He leans back in his chair, folds his hands, and says he has a special project in Ghana, one that could change her career forever. He tells her it's a high-level assignment that only trusted employees get. Naledi's eyes widen with excitement until he adds softly, "But before we talk about that, join me for dinner tonight." His words are calm, but his stare lingers too long. The air in the room feels heavy, and Naledi suddenly understands what he really means. Her hands tighten around her notepad, and the excitement fades from her face. She tries to keep her voice steady as she asks if they can discuss the project during office hours. Zuberi chuckles, shaking his head, saying business and trust are built after hours. His tone is smooth, but his eyes say something different. He tells her not to overthink and assures her it's just dinner. Naledi nods slightly, trying to end the conversation quickly, but her chest feels tight. She knows this isn't just a friendly invitation, it's a test of her silence. When she leaves the office, her colleagues glance at her, curious about what the boss wanted. She doesn't say a word. Walking toward the elevator, her reflection in the glass looks different, more aware, more cautious. She realizes that success here doesn't only depend on skill. It comes with hidden conditions. As the elevator doors close, Naledi looks down at her notepad and whispers to herself, "No job is worth losing your respect." She knows she will face something dangerous, but her heart is clear. She will never trade her dignity for a position. That evening, Naledi dresses simply and shows up at the restaurant, but not to please him. She wears a plain blue dress and ties her hair back neatly. Her steps are calm, but her heart beats fast as she enters the shining glass doors of the luxury restaurant. Around her, people laugh over fine meals and soft music plays in the background. Zuberi is already there, sitting at a private corner table, wearing his usual confident smile. He stands when she arrives, pretending to be a gentleman, but his eyes hold something else, a sense of control. He gestures for her to sit and begins speaking smoothly about her future in the company. He talks about how quickly she could rise, how her salary could triple, and how she could live the life others only dream of. He orders the most expensive dishes, never asking if she wants any. His words sound flattering, but each one feels heavier, more personal than professional. Naledi listens quietly, letting him talk, her face calm but her mind clear. Then Zuberi leans closer across the table, lowering his voice. He tells her that he can open doors no one else can, but only if she agrees to trust him completely. He talks of business trips, designer clothes, and promotions, all wrapped around the same unspoken offer. Naledi feels a deep chill inside her, but she doesn't look away. When he finishes, she takes a small sip of water, sets the glass down, and says softly, "I didn't come to sell my pride, sir." For a second, everything around them goes silent. The waiter nearby freezes mid-step. Zuberi's charming smile fades, replaced by something dark and hard. His eyes narrow, his jaw tightens, and the warmth in his voice disappears. He tells her she's making a mistake, that people like her don't get far without help. But Naledi stands up calmly, places her napkin on the table, and looks him straight in the eye. "If success means losing my respect," she says quietly, "then I'd rather fail." She walks out into the cool night air, her legs shaking slightly, but her heart strong. Behind her, Zuberi sits frozen, watching her leave, a man unaccustomed to hearing no. The next week, Naledi's workload doubles. Every morning, her desk is piled high with new files, more than one person could ever finish in a day. Tasks that used to be shared among 3 workers are now all assigned to her. When she asks questions, her team members avoid eye contact, pretending to be busy. They whisper behind her back, afraid of being seen helping her. Naledi notices how quickly the friendly smiles from her first weeks have vanished. Something in the air has changed, it's colder now. Then strange things start to happen. Reports she submits on time suddenly disappear. Emails she sends to her boss are claimed to have never arrived. When she goes to check with the department head, he says, "Mr. Zuberi told me you're careless. Fix your mistakes before complaining." Naledi's chest tightens, but she keeps her voice calm. She knows what's happening. This is punishment for saying no. Still, she refuses to show fear. Every evening, she stays late, organizing her documents neatly and saving copies on her personal drive. She starts writing down everything, dates, messages, and who said what. While others go home early, she remains under the dim office lights, quietly collecting proof of the lies being built around her. Each time someone spreads a rumor, she notes the time and place. Every insult, every unfair task, all of it goes into her file. Days pass and the pressure grows. Some co-workers whisper that she's proud, others say she's finished. But Naledi keeps her head high. She doesn't argue or cry. She simply works harder, silently building her wall of truth. Late one night, as she packs her bag, she looks around the empty office and whispers to herself, "They can twist stories, but they can't erase truth." Outside, the streets of Daruko glow with city lights. People rush home, unaware of the quiet battle being fought inside that tall glass building. Naledi walks slowly to the bus stop, tired but unbroken. She knows Zuberi wants her to give up, to disappear quietly like others before her. But instead, she's preparing for the moment when every lie will collapse under its own weight. One late evening, a janitor named Kwame finds Naledi crying over shredded files. The office is almost empty, and the hum of the cleaning machines echoes through the hall. Naledi sits on the floor beside the shredder, holding pieces of her reports that had been destroyed before she could submit them. Her eyes are red, but her face is still strong. She whispers to herself, "They want to erase my work." Kwame pauses, watching her quietly before walking closer. He has worked in the building for many years, and has seen many young women come and go, some full of dreams, some leaving in silence after being broken by the same powerful man. He bends down gently and says, "You're not the first, my child. I've seen this before." Naledi looks up, surprised by the kindness in his voice. He tells her how others tried to fight but were threatened, silenced, or made to resign. "But you," he says softly, "you're different. You're still here." His words comfort her in a way she didn't expect. She wipes her tears and nods slowly. Kwame tells her that if she truly wants justice, she must take her story beyond the walls of the company, to someone who can make the world listen. That night, Kwame gives her a name, Amina. He says Amina is a journalist who has been collecting stories from women who faced abuse and corruption in the biggest cities across Africa. She doesn't scare easy, he adds with a faint smile. Naledi hesitates, afraid of what might happen if Zubri finds out, but then she remembers all the humiliation, all the sleepless nights. She decides she can't stay silent anymore. Kwame helps her hide the remaining documents that survived the shredding. Together, they secretly scan copies late at night and save them on a hidden drive. For the first time in weeks, Naledi feels hope returning. When she finally contacts Amina, the journalist listens carefully and says, "You're not alone anymore." Those words echo in Naledi's heart. For the first time, she realizes her story isn't just her fight, it's the voice of many who were forced into silence before her. Zubri, realizing Naledi isn't breaking, transfers her to a dangerous construction site with no safety budget, hoping she'll quit or fail. When she receives the transfer letter, she instantly understands what it means. The site is far outside the city, known for its poor conditions and broken tools. Everyone sees it as a punishment. But Naledi doesn't argue or beg. She simply packs her bag and reports there the next morning. When she arrives, she finds workers using rusted helmets, torn gloves, and weak scaffolding. The heat is unbearable, and there's no clean water nearby. Still, she greets everyone kindly, saying, "We will make this place safe together." At first, the workers doubt her. They have seen many supervisors come and go, most of them careless or afraid. But Naledi surprises them. She walks around the site, inspecting every broken structure, writing notes, and listening to the workers' complaints. When she learns that the company refused to send new materials, she starts thinking creatively. She reaches out to local shops and nearby schools, asking for unused wood, metal, and ropes. Slowly, she collects what others throw away and turns it into something strong. Within days, the site begins to change. She trains workers on safety, builds protective barriers, and uses recycled materials to repair the scaffolds. Every evening, she stays until sunset, encouraging her team like a sister, not a boss. The workers grow to respect her deeply. One of them, old and tired, says, "No one has ever cared like you do." Those words fuel her even more. Weeks pass, and the impossible happens. The project starts taking shape. Despite no official support, Naledi's team completes each section carefully and safely. One day, a visitor from the nearby community takes photos of the workers smiling under a banner that reads, "Done with dignity." Those pictures spread online, shared by people who admire her courage and leadership. Back in the city, Zubri sees the posts and grows furious. What he meant as her downfall has become her triumph. While he hides behind his desk, Naledi stands under the sun, surrounded by proud workers who now see her not as a victim, but as a leader who turned rejection into strength. Amina's article hits headlines. Inside Akan Holdings, the price women pay for saying no. By morning, the story is everywhere, on phones, radios, and news screens across the country. People can't stop talking about it. The article exposes the truth behind the company's polished image, telling how power was used to silence hardworking women. Screenshots of messages, secret recordings, and testimonies from former employees flood social media. Each new post adds more fuel to the fire. For the first time, everyone sees the side of Akan Holdings that was always hidden behind its shiny logo. At the office, chaos breaks out. The board of directors gathers in a hurry, their faces pale with shock. Calls pour in from partners, clients, and investors demanding answers. Every news channel is replaying the leaked audios. One of them clearly carries Zubri's voice, calm and confident, offering promotions in exchange for trust. His once perfect reputation begins to crumble within hours. Employees whisper in the hallways, pretending to work while scrolling through the latest updates online. The same man they once feared has become the center of a national scandal. Zubri tries to defend himself, calling the recordings fake, blaming hackers and jealous competitors. But the evidence is too strong. Old staff members start stepping forward with their own experiences. Some share messages, others talk to journalists. The wave of truth becomes unstoppable. Even those who once stayed silent now feel brave enough to speak. Naledi stays quiet through it all. She doesn't post, doesn't argue. She just watches as everything she endured finally comes to light. Her name appears in the article, But Amina keeps her identity respectful and strong, calling her the woman who refused silence. By evening, the company's image is shattered. Protesters stand outside the building holding signs demanding justice. The board has no choice but to suspend Zuberi while investigations begin. For the first time, the powerful man who once ruled through fear now hides from the cameras. And far from the noise, Naledi sits at home, her phone buzzing with messages of support. She finally breathes in peace, knowing that truth, though late, has spoken louder than his power ever could. As protests grow, Zuberi is suspended pending investigation. Outside the building, crowds gather, holding signs and chanting for justice. Cameras flash as reporters cover every angle. Inside, the atmosphere is tense. Board members pace nervously, papers scattered across their desks, unsure how to respond to the overwhelming attention. In the midst of it all, Naledi receives a message calling her to speak before the directors. She takes a deep breath, knowing this is her moment, not for revenge, but to stand for everyone who has been silenced. She chooses the same simple outfit she wore that night at the restaurant, a plain dress, neat hair, and no jewelry. It is a statement of her confidence and her refusal to be dazzled by power or wealth. As she enters the boardroom, all eyes turn toward her. The directors shift uncomfortably in their chairs. Some glance at each other, as if unsure what to say, while others try to maintain authority. But it is clear the room is no longer hers to fear. It belongs to truth. Naledi walks to the center, holding her notes loosely in one hand. She pauses, letting the silence settle, then looks each member in the eye. Her voice is calm but firm as she speaks. Respect is not something you buy. It's what you give. The words echo in the room, hitting harder than any report or email ever could. Some directors swallow nervously, unable to meet her gaze. Others nod slightly, realizing the power has shifted from fear to integrity. She continues, sharing how manipulation, threats, and hidden punishments affect employees daily. She speaks of her team, the late nights, the missing reports, and the courage it took to stay strong. Every word is clear and honest, leaving no room for excuses. The board listens, some visibly ashamed, while a few frown, unable to hide their discomfort. By the end of her speech, the room is quiet except for the faint hum of the air conditioning. Naledi sets her notes down and steps back. She doesn't gloat, doesn't demand applause. Her presence alone is enough. The directors exchange looks, realizing the company must change or risk losing everything. Outside, cameras capture the moment, broadcasting her courage to thousands who are inspired by her bravery. That day, Naledi doesn't just speak for herself. She becomes the voice of everyone who refused to stay silent in the face of injustice. Weeks later, Akan Holdings announces new leadership reforms. The company holds a press conference, and cameras capture the nervous faces of the board as they outline new rules for transparency, safety, and fair promotion. Policies are written clearly, ensuring that no employee will ever face the kind of threats and manipulation Naledi endured. The news spreads quickly across Daruko, and people cheer for the changes, hopeful that the company can finally become a place of respect and honesty. Naledi is called into the office again, but this time, the atmosphere is entirely different. She is offered a promotion, not because she is a woman, and not as a reward for compliance, but because she stood firm and exposed the truth when everyone else was too afraid. The title comes with real responsibility, leading teams, overseeing projects, and ensuring that fairness is enforced at every level. She accepts calmly, her heart full of pride and determination, knowing this is a chance to make lasting change. Word spreads fast among the women of Daruko. They begin calling her the lioness of integrity. Her courage inspires them to speak up, to demand fairness in their own workplaces, and to never accept injustice silently. Messages flood her inbox from women she has never met, thanking her for showing that saying no does not mean losing everything. Social media shares her story widely, and even young girls start looking up to her as a role model, learning that dignity is more valuable than wealth or comfort. Naledi doesn't stop at the promotion. She works tirelessly to implement the new reforms, training teams on leadership, ethics, and safety. She meets with employees individually, listening to their concerns, and creating an environment where everyone feels heard. Slowly, Akan Holdings begins to change its reputation. from a company feared for its harsh practices to one admired for fairness and courage. Her story becomes a beacon for others, showing that bravery, patience, and integrity can overcome fear and corruption. Newspapers, websites, and radio stations tell her journey, emphasizing how one person's refusal to compromise values can ripple across an entire city, inspiring change. For Naledi, it is more than recognition. It is proof that standing firm, even against the most powerful, can reshape the world around you, and that courage, honesty, and respect are the true measures of success. Months later, Amina's documentary about Naledi's courage wins international awards. The film shows every moment of her struggle, the threats, the missing reports, the dangerous construction site, and the tireless effort to stand up to a powerful man. It also highlights her leadership, her care for her team, and her unwavering honesty. Across Africa and beyond, people watch the documentary, amazed at her bravery. News channels replay clips, social media fills with praise, and schools use her story to teach students about integrity and courage. The award ceremony is held in a grand hall, with reporters, celebrities, and dignitaries filling every seat. When Naledi steps onto the stage, she walks with calm confidence, wearing the same simple dress that had become her symbol. A reminder that strength doesn't need extravagance. Cameras flash, microphones are ready, but she doesn't rush. She pauses, looking over the crowd, and sees the faces of people inspired by her journey. She holds the award in her hands, feeling the weight not as a trophy, but as a responsibility. When she speaks, her voice is steady and clear. "I didn't fight to win a job," she says. "I fought so no woman ever feels small for saying no." The hall goes silent. Every word resonates deeply, reaching far beyond those sitting in front of her. Social media explodes with her speech. Millions share clips and quotes, calling her a hero. Young women write to her, saying they now feel brave enough to speak up in their own workplaces. Men and women alike reflect on their own actions and the importance of respect and fairness. Throughout her speech, Naledi doesn't mention revenge or anger. Instead, she talks about courage, dignity, and standing up for what is right. Every sentence is a reminder that honesty and integrity are stronger than fear and corruption. When she finishes, the applause is thunderous. Cameras capture every moment, and the video spreads quickly across screens, inspiring millions who may have felt powerless before. By the end of the night, Naledi's story has reached continents beyond Africa. She returns home not only as a successful professional, but as a symbol of courage and hope. Her journey shows that one person's refusal to compromise their values can change lives, inspire movements, and remind the world that true strength lies in standing firm for what is right. And that's how Naledi turned courage into power. One woman's no became a roar that echoed across a continent, inspiring millions to stand tall, speak up, and never let anyone dim their light. Her story proves, respect can't be bought, it's earned, and bravery always wins. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing stories.